Bonnie. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working in my reading journal, documenting everything that I read or consumed in November. So I have many other months working in this reading journal over here, so I'll list that playlist below if you haven't checked those out. But as always, we typically start right here with the What I Read section of my journal, and I always just print off all of my photos at a 0.7 by 1.1 size, so kind of random, but I found a size that worked for me, and I print those off, cut them out, and then I just add them in. So last month I had to make like an additional little hinge area over here to house the last books of the year. I think that I'll be able to fit them all right here because I did really well in November, but December has been a crazy slow reading month for me. So when that video comes, I will not have very many things to add. So that's just the way that it works. Also, I apologize for my head getting in the way. I was trying to get them on straight and everything. So then I just add them on right here. Probably next month we'll kind of decorate this little flap, but for now we're just going to leave it the way that it is. Then we always move on to monthly favorites. So I just choose one book every month that I liked the most, add it in to the spot, super quick and easy. This month I chose Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. I thought that that was a really funny and heartbreaking memoir, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually listened to it on Audible, and she read it, and so it was really a really nice thing to listen to. But it did have funny parts, but also was really sad at times just about her relationship with her mom and also just with like child stardom and stuff. So if you're interested in things like that, I definitely recommend it. So then we move on to my bookshelfie. I love this page. I love adding in all the books that I read on here, but I have basically run out of room. So what I did was I paused the video for a second. I went and reprinted one page of the shelfie, and then I just kind of, or the shelf, I guess, and then I just kind of cut that one portion out and added it to the bottom, just so I would have a little bit more here for the last 2 months of the year. So as you can see in the lower left-hand portion, I have it kind of color coordinated. So all the books that I listen to through audio are blue, the ebooks are yellow, and the physical books are pink. So I definitely listen to the majority of my books, and that is how I'm able to consume so many books every month because I love listening to audiobooks. I'm a big listener of things like that, of podcasts and audiobooks. I almost always have something like that on. And in November, I just listened to so many books. Actually, I completed 10 books and 8 of them were audio. So I listened to a lot of books this past month. So I'm just adding all of those in. So I colored them in, and then I'm adding in all of the titles here. And then whenever we finish that, we will move on to the actual monthly spread. So then I always go through and I create a kind of 2-page spread for each month where I will go into detail a little bit more about like my favorite book, my least favorite book, the amount of pages, all that kind of stuff. So here we will start that. So I always start off with my Honey and Spice Alpha stamp set from Heidi Swapp. And I stamp out the month and the word stats. So I just grab out, I have a Catherine Pooler, kind of like the mini ink pad set. And so I always grab out this one that has all the light color inks. I can't remember exactly. If you want to know, you can always ask me below and I will let you know. And I just kind of stamp that out, and then I'll add in all my little pieces. So while I'm doing that, I'll tell you about some of the books that I read this past month. So like I said, it was a really good reading month for me because I did consume several books. So I've been on this really big kick with these Joanne Fluke books. I believe I've mentioned them before. So Joanne Fluke is an author of cozy mysteries, and they're always, I don't know what they're actually called, but they're always called something like the lemon meringue pie murder, the fudged cupcake murder, the cherry cheesecake murder, things like that. And they follow Hannah Swenson and like all of the things that happen to her as she runs her bakery and constantly finds dead bodies and has to solve these mysteries. So I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with these books because there's been several that I have really enjoyed, and now I'm on maybe like the 10th book or more, so I've listened to a lot of them. The thing is, I can get them free on the Libby app through my library to listen to, so that's one thing that keeps me going back because it's just a really easy thing to put on while I'm cleaning or while I'm editing videos or whatever. But this month, the first one of the Joanne Fluke books that I listened to was called The Lemon Meringue Pie Murder. And let me tell you, it was one of the worst books I have ever read. I gave it 1 star. So this is the only 1-star book of the entire year, but it was that bad. It was just quite offensive in many, many ways. Now, these books have had several things in them that have annoyed me throughout the time that I've been reading them. They were written in the early 2000s, so I think times have just changed a bit. But this one had a lot of things that I felt were quite offensive, so I had to give it a 1 star. But I did decide to keep going with the books, and I ended up listening to, I think, 3 more after the one that I did not like. So I also listened to the Fudge Cupcake, the Sugar Cookie, and Peach Cobbler, and they all got much higher ratings. So it's kind of a little give and take there with me and Joanne Fluke books. So what can I say? Besides that, I also read volumes 2 and 3 of the Snot Girl graphic novel series, which I really enjoy. So I read both of those. Like I said, I read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. That was my only 5-star, I think, for the month. I also listened to The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, which is a thriller. I did enjoy it, but it was definitely not my favorite. I think I gave it 4 stars, but that was a little bit of a struggle. It was probably about a 3.5 or so. It was okay. I also listened to Things Have Gotten a Lot Worse Since We Last Spoke, which is a horror novella, and it has like body horror in it, so it's quite gross. It was definitely an interesting thing to listen to. I wouldn't say it's super enjoyable. I mean, it is like a horror book, so it made me feel very uncomfortable, but I did give it 4 stars because I felt like it did what it had intended to do. I've just heard about this book. This is the cover right here that I'm placing on there, and I've just heard about it so much in different like booktubers and things like that I watch. And I just thought, okay, I have to try to listen to this because it's really short. It's only 100 and something pages. So I did get that one finished as well. And besides that, this month for my Cozy Mystery Book Club over on Patreon, we read Magic Lies and Deadly Pies, which was a pretty interesting and different type of cozy mystery this month. So I listened to that as well. So those are the 10 books that I completed this month. So what I always do at this point is I print off all of these book covers at a 1 inch by 1.5 inch size. And then I just place them on this right side of the paper, just in whatever formation I feel like works best. I also have these really cute rating star stickers that I got from Etsy. I'll link those below if you're interested in grabbing those. And I just put my star rating right underneath it. And I love having this kind of like visual graphic-y page to look at where I can just see all the books that I read. And this is the only spot where I put my star rating. And that's something that I think I want to change for next year. I have like a couple places where I put if it's an audiobook, an ebook, or a physical book, which I think I just saw a lot of people doing that in their reading journals. And although I think that's cool, I probably will document that somewhere. I don't really honestly care that much about that particular stat. So I really like the rating more. So I think I'm going to put more emphasis on that in a couple different areas of my album. So also, as I've been doing throughout, I sprinkle on some of my stickers here. So I just got those from Pip Sticks. So I just looked up different type of stickers on there. I have some cute little reading ones, but then also mix it up with some little smiley faces and stars as well. So then my next section here in my reading journal is all about the book reviews. So typically every month I have at least 1 or 2 books or however many. This month I had 3 that I want to talk about further. So sometimes it's in a good way, sometimes it's in a bad way. As you can see, the Lemon Meringue Pie Murder made it to the list. I did not want to talk about this book in a good way, but I did want to mention it because it is memorable because of how much I kind of disliked it. So I did want to talk about it a little bit. So the 3 books that I chose were Things Have Gotten a Lot Worse Since We Last Spoke, because it was just unlike any other book that I have read so far. So I had a little bit that I wanted to say about it. And then also, I'm Glad My Mom Died, because that was my favorite book of the month. So I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit more. So this one, I'm kind of loosey-goosey with it. It doesn't matter how many. I mean, if I didn't really want to talk about any at the end of the month, I wouldn't have to. This is just for fun, just books that I want to kind of touch on a little bit more. So sometimes I'll have 5 books. It's just one of those months where there's a lot of additional things that I want to say. Or sometimes I may just read a lot of mid books where I don't really have a ton to say afterwards. So I've been numbering them just using that same Honey and Spice stamp set. So for the 22, I ended up just using an extra piece of the paper out of this album or this notebook. So I stamped that not directly in the book just because I didn't have as much space there to add on the stamping as I did on the other 2 for whatever reason. So I end up just stamping it on the other piece of paper so I can cut it out and add it on so I can kind of place it in there better. So I just felt like that was the better option for that one. So I do that, we'll add that on, and then I think we're just going to move on to the back for the cozy mystery section. So the only other section I have in here that I don't typically mess with during the videos is a little bingo section. So I do have several bingos that I'll just kind of add to here and there as I think about it. They're just for fun. I really don't keep track of them too much. But then here in the back, I do have my cozy mystery book club section. So for here, I always do a 2-page spread where I again stamp on the month at the top, and then I always add in a photo of myself with the book. So I don't know really where that started. I just one time took a picture with the book, and then that's just kind of continued to happen every month. And it's funny because for November, I actually forgot. So typically right before the book club meeting, I will quickly just take a selfie that then I will add into my album. And if Project Life is kind of quiet that week, I might add it in there. But for November, I completely forgot to take the photo. So actually today, when I was working on this album, I snapped that photo really quick. So typically it's right before the book club meeting, but this one, it didn't happen. But anyway, snapped it really quick. It worked out just fine. So I added that photo on. Then just like on the monthly spread, I always grab out my Dymo label maker, and for this one, I spell out thoughts and meeting, and then I typically add in both of those things. And I'm sorry if you heard that beep. My printer just decided to turn off out of nowhere, which that was fun because when I first got this printer a few months ago, in the middle of the night, I would hear a beep and I would be like, what is beeping? It freaked me out a little bit. Then I realized that the printer announces that it's turning off for whatever reason if it's been on for too long. So that's fun. So sorry if I startled you with that. So here, yes, I add in my thoughts, and then I will add in meeting at the bottom where I just like to add just a few little notes about how the meeting went, how everyone liked the book, if it was kind of universally that everyone liked it, or if it was kind of in the middle, or any takeaways from it. And then I typically stamp out how many people we had in attendance at the meeting as well. So I will do that here in just a little bit after I add on some of my stickers. So these I love. I've just added these in the last couple of months. They're so cute, from Pipsticks. They're kind of like a fuzzy teardrop kind of look, and I just love them. I did get a few new Pip Sticks stickers in the mail earlier this month, and I ordered some more of the ones that I've been using in here just to have like a bigger stock of them. So love that, because I hate when I get low on the little stars and stuff because they're just so cute. So you see I stamped out 5. We had 5 people at the meeting. And then on the right side, that is just the little printable that I always make and add over to Patreon for some discussion questions for our monthly Zoom. So I'm going to add in the rest of my journaling here. I added in a little washi at the top, and then that is basically it. So I was really happy to get this book journal, my reading journal, completed for the month, because now we are nearing the end of December, so I'll have to do it all over again, and I definitely didn't want to get too far behind. So here I'll just give you a little flip through of everything that we did today. I've really loved this journal, and I think I'm just going to continue in the same Archer and Olive notebook for next year, but I might just change up the way that I'm documenting a little bit here and there. Also, whenever we get to the book club, I am going to put down this month's book because I forgot it. But I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Please also consider subscribing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.